What an incredible time of year. Major League Baseball's opening day right around the corner. College baseball is brimming and boiling over with amazing talent and battles. High school baseball, all 50 states being played aggressively, showcases youth baseball, minor league spring training. Let's get it going. This is Perfect Game Weekly. Hi there, folks. My name is Daron Sutton. Glad you found us. This is the only show devoted to amateur baseball. This is Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. We'll have a great conversation with head coach John Savage of UCLA. How does he stick by players? How does he develop players while still battling in the pack and nationally at the college level? We'll have a conversation with Jered Goodwin. His top 5 of what? You'll have to stand by, wait and see. This is an amazing time of year. We're going to open up the notebook for the great scout and the great rider. Our Yeti travel ball rankings. We'll take a look this week at the 11U rankings. And we're rolling out a brand new segment, How I Do What I Do. You athletes out there, share with us. We'll explain, but we'll start with Orange Lutheran, California's Carson Bowen, a great catcher, takes us behind the plate and shares his secrets to success. Again, hashtag Hidwin, How I Do What I Do. But let's start the show with the head coach of UCLA, John Savage. Thanks for spending time with all of us. We really appreciate it. I want to start with a man who gambled on himself a couple of years ago when he was drafted in the first round by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Matt McLain's your starting shortstop this year. How bold was that gamble back then? How proud are you of what he's accomplished in the last couple of years?
So proud. The guy, whenever you get a first rounder, it's very unusual. We all know that they normally sign, and obviously we had Gerrit Cole back in the day, and then now Matt McLain, and a lot of target on the back. Every game people are trying to get him out, people are focusing on him, people are watching him, so there's a lot that comes with that responsibility, and I'm just so proud of Matt and his growth as a player defensively and now offensively. And Daron, I think we talked about, he was off to a tremendous start last season before the season got shut down, and he was going nuts through 15 games, and then it got shut down, and he went up and played up in Santa Barbara and had a big summer, and now he's hot again. So he's just a joy to coach. He's a team guy, he's a culture guy, he's a winning player. He's a guy that an organization is going to get and is going to love.
So I want to ask about his double play partner on a lot of nights, second baseman Mikey Perez. He's got such a unique background, obviously being coached by his dad in high school, being mommed by his mom, who, by the way, is your counterpart on the softball side, Kelly, in a way, Perez. I'm dying to get to know. He's developed now. He's been with you for a couple of years. He probably, because of mom and dad, has shook the pressure right away of the namesakes. Tell me who he is as a player and a young man.
Well, Mikey's really born and bred to be a Bruin, and he's a guy that has tremendous ability. He's got tools. He just had a hard time getting to those tools a little bit coming out of high school. He was out of Gar High School. Like you said, he played for his dad. His mom is a Hall of Fame softball coach here at UCLA. And, he's a tools guy. He can really defend. He can play shortstop. He can play third. He can play center. He can play all over the place. His versatility is really elite. And he's an offensive player. He can hit doubles, he can hit home runs, he's got some power, he can run a little bit. He's a tremendous, sneaky tools guy, and who's playing second base in our program. And certainly Mikey's grown as a player, and I think the ceiling is high for him. He just has a ability to play, he has ability to hit velocity, he can hit anybody's fastball, and he's just really grown as a double play combination, like you said, along with Matt.
So it's really cool, John, the kind of synergy that I'm guessing gets created. Mikey's a part of it, right? Just by accident that happens. But when you have such an elite softball program, such an elite baseball program with the academic expectations, that doesn't happen everywhere. You've got to be proud of having that synergy.
Yeah, I'm very, very proud of it. Very honored to be a part of it, really. Kelly's been here a long, long time. This is my 17th season at UCLA, and we just, we're trying to keep on building the culture of the program. It's hard to win. It's hard to win at our level, and it's hard to really, stay at the top. And you do everything you can. It's all about recruiting. It's all about getting good players. It's all about getting good makeup. It's getting guys that can handle, like you said, both on the field and in the Pac-12, and then certainly off the field academically. UCLA is a tremendous challenge. So we're looking for special guys. We're looking for special gifted guys that can really do both. And that's a really strong combination here. We've had a lot of great examples.
So you have a couple of sons on your program as well of Trish Karos. Of course, there's Eric Karos too, but Trish's mom. And I'd like to get to know them. I love Jered Karos, the fact that he was, again, born and bred to be a UCLA Bruin. He was literally born at UCLA Medical Center. Let's start there. 6'7" pitcher, son of Eric Karos, but he's writing his own story now. Tell me about Jered Karos, their sophomore.
Jered's really, really coming on. I mean, he had a really good freshman year as well. And then, he had really good starts against Loyola and against Pepperdine. And then the season got shut down. And then he started Friday night instead of Petway. Petway was banged up a little bit. And Jered is, he's 90 to 92, good changeup, improving slider, a good curveball, athletic, competitive. He's tall, like you said, he's 6'7". So there's a lot of growth, a lot of projection. He's very coordinated for his delivery. And, he's going to Cape Cod this summer, and he's just growing. I love coaching him. He's a fun guy to coach. He's mentally tough. And like you said, Trish and Eric did a tremendous job raising both Jered and Kyle because they're really competitive. They're team orientated, and there's a lot to like about both of them. But Jered, I'm really proud of the progress he's making, and I think he'll be a pretty good draft next season.
And then Kyle, we knew Kyle at a lot of perfect game events, different position, infielder. The interesting thing I'm watching you're doing with Kyle, and we've seen it done with Matt and many others, he may not be starting the way he wants to be starting, but you're sticking with him.
Yeah, I mean, we believe in development. We believe in projection. I mean, you got to play guys to get better. And it's, you got to, winning helps. Obviously other players help. Kyle's played tremendous at third base. He's a big frame. I mean, you can dream a little bit on him. You kind of sense the Chris Bryant or, somebody like that down the road. And, and he's got power. He's going to have power. He's going to get the power. And he's playing a lot. We've had some injuries, so he's been a little fortunate there. He's been able to play third the entire year, and he's really grown in front of our eyes. And like you said, he's playing. We did that with Matt. We believe in freshmen playing. We believe in prospects playing, and certainly, we get paid to win, but at the same time, we understand the development side of it equates to that. And, he's a guy that, another tremendous makeup and tremendous upside.
If you're listening to this interview on our Perfect Game podcast, Amateur Hour, I, in fact, have a couple of more really unique behind-the-scenes question for John. If you're watching Perfect Game Weekly, go find Amateur Hour and listen to the next couple of questions about guys that are hoping to build their careers from UCLA to the Hall of Fame. I think you can guess it's Mr. Cole and Mr. Bauer. Until then, thank you, John. We appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, Daron.
He is John Savage, the head coach at UCLA. When we come back to Perfect Game Weekly presented by Rawlings, the top 5 for Jered Goodwin, the great writer and the great scout. What does that mean? It's 5 big subjects that are touching baseball all around the country. This is Perfect Game Weekly presented by Rawlings.
You can tell right away if it's going to be a good glove or not. Broken and good, so when it breaks in nice, you want to use it for years. And I got the gold on it now. If you're into it mentally, you're getting your pre-pitch routine, defense doesn't slump. It doesn't come and go like offense. If you lock it in mentally, it's going to be there.
Perfect Game Weekly, a look at our Yeti Built for the Wild travel ball team rankings at 11U out of Mississippi, the Diamond Jacks. I love the Scottsdale Dirtbags 11U black team. I like catcher Quinn Wheeler on that squad. He has all sorts of fun. M3 Elite is out of Antioch, Tennessee, 23-1 last year. Caleb Alexander, power. Big slugger for that Dynasty black team. Showcase Baseball Academy, SBA, out of Matthews, North Carolina. And the Next Level Prospects out of Pooler, Georgia. Sheldon Bunch, Landon Huggins, both can ball and are fun athletes. Speaking of being fun athletes, there's a catcher out of Southern California by the name of Carson Bowen. This is a young man that is much decorated as a member of Team USA. He's got a couple of golds and a silver, played up one year on that 15U national team. He is a perfect game presence too. And at Orange Lutheran in the Trinity League, one of the best high school leagues in the country, he is a star. And that is so very tough to do. We recently caught up with him. I did. I got a chance to feel young again and get inside the batting cage, but with the glove on. He's a catcher. He's a defender. I asked him, Karson, how do you do what you do behind the plate? And he showed us. All right, where do I start? Where do I head out here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right,
so what are we doing first? Go for it.
I like to start knee down and just to warm up with just some framing and just catch the balls. And you can do this with a tennis ball on the wall if you're alone, but just trying to get your hands working, try to stay soft. And you can just work on this and stay under the ball. It's a big thing. And over quarantine, kind of stuck in the house, so we'll just do this in the backyard. I'm just gonna have you roll it to my left foot, like really slow.
Okay, roll to the left foot. Got it.
Sir. Like that, you're gonna wanna move your knees in as it comes, kind of like a drill to get your body going the right way. You can go a little slower if you want. It just emphasizes the movement a little better. The knees are, for this, throwing it here, it's so you go, like you move your knees so you're getting your body in position, but you keep your like chest this way. That way you can grab the ball, and then your knees are already going the right way. And then for this one, it's really to emphasize staying under the ball. You start with your glove down like this, and then you'll throw it, and then I'll try to like stay under it the whole time.
Okay.
This emphasizes staying under the ball so you don't get beat. Like, here, I'll show you. I can show you an example of a bad one real quick.
Okay.
It'll look like that, like where you come down on it.
Okay.
So you really want to stay under it and stay through it. And it, like, as a catcher, it feels really good, and I think it looks good from a pitcher. So this one's just a blocking drill where it's like really light. You're not gonna beat yourself up too much with getting balls thrown at you. You just put them out in front of you, and then you can just drop straight down, or you can go to the sides, and it's just really good dry work. And you just go like this way, and then you can go this way, and it's just really easy to do by yourself. You don't need anybody to throw balls at you, and you don't get beat up at the end of the day, which is always good.
Wow. Excellent. And from what I understand, and you and I in our conversations in years past, you used the word empathy in a questionnaire you filled out with me a couple of years ago, right? So as a younger man, you learned right away to have empathy towards the guys out there, towards us,
Yes.
and what I used to do.
Yes, sir.
Where does that come from, and how much does that benefit you in your gig, that you have empathy for pitchers?
It came from just like understanding, because I used to pitch too. You understand, like, it's hard, it's not easy, they're gonna bounce it, and you just gotta be ready and be there for them, because every pitcher needs a good catcher.
That was awesome. Loved getting to know behind the plate the world of Carson Bowen. So here's what we want to do. How do you do what you do? How I do what I do. It's Hidwit. Hashtag Hidwit. On the bottom of your screen right now, you are going to see instructions to upload your video. You can go back and watch what you saw with Carson Bowen, but that's the theme. You sharing with us the secrets to your success. And in doing so, you're sharing with others. You're growing the game. And whether you're a player that plays at the youth age group, whether you play high school travel ball, or even in college, heck, we'll take our pros out there. Hashtag Hidwit. How I do what I do. As a secondary choice, certainly hit up Perfect Game on all their social media platforms, but make sure you put the hashtag Hidwood right by it. Love it. Brand new stuff. We're going to build shows around you teaching the game to us and all of your colleagues. We're enjoying learning the game, as we do all the time, from Jered Goodwin. And Jered, as we talked about coming on the air, has 5 things. Jered, I made it seem like it was the biggest secret in the world, but when you handle all the scouts, you handle building a lot of the PG content as PG's national scouting director. You've got 5 magical things. I'm going to turn you loose. I'll kind of get you back on track if I need to, but you're full of information. Can I start with number 1, high school rankings?
High school rankings, yes. Let's touch first two topics are going to be team type topics. And in a nutshell, a lot of our top 50 really stayed the course over the last week. They all performed, whether it was big matchups or just a couple games, spring break tournaments going on. But all of our high school teams in that top 50 really just handled their business this week. But the one shakeup at the top worth noting is Buford taking over that top spot. And it wasn't necessarily because IMG lost one game. They lost to two potential first-day draft picks. They split that series with Calvary Christian. They saw Andrew Painter and Irv Carter both times. But it's been Buford's dominance. They won the PG High School Showdown. They're undefeated on the year. They have 10 college commits. They play a very team-oriented style of baseball with toughness. Dylan Lesko, obviously their star, can beat any team in the entire country. He's completely dominant on the hill, and he's really done a good job at the plate as well. Riley Stanford really seems to be coming into his own as well, two underclass guys for Buford. But it's that tough team, really camaraderie that they have. They have a huge matchup here in a couple weeks with Winterboro, who is also in our top 25. So that's going to be something we're really going to lock in and key down on, and we're going to have great coverage at that game. The biggest riser, though, is Auburn High School. They are 16-1. They went from unranked into our top 30. They're just doing it on both sides of the ball. They have a .94 ERA on the mound. A lot of people contributing on the mound and doing just a fabulous job of throwing strikes and getting early contact and letting their defense play. Their offense, though, is just rolling. They're hitting like 300 with almost 3 extra base hits each game, so showing that power. But they're also stealing a ton of bases. They're averaging 3 stolen bases per game.
Subject number 2, college heartbeat.
College heartbeat is next. It's really, really hard to beat Vandy right now and going forward with how Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter are pitching. The offense is coming up with timely hitting. They can really run the bases, and when you get to their park, they just seem to explode with them being able to play well on that turf at home, defensively and fast. So they're just fun to watch, and it's going to be interesting to see who goes in there and can kind of put a chink in the armor in that Friday or Saturday set of games. FSU has to be mentioned. Their week beating Florida and then sweeping Miami in Miami is just incredible. It was something like 44-4. The run differential between those games. Both of those opponents were in the top 10. They made some small adjustments in their lineup, and it's really just pushed the right buttons for Mike Martin Jr. there. And it's fabulous to see FSU, Florida, and Miami all in the top 25. But when FSU has a week like that, they have to be mentioned on here. And again, with these team rankings, it goes back to every single player. They're all getting it done, playing at a high level, and you can tell there's that pride that's coming through that program in Tallahassee.
Number 3, Rawlings All-Americans.
Yes, this is the underclass portion, and really just wanted to plug this because the accuracy that has come with these lists over the years, dating back to 2009, where we could have seen a Chris Bryant or Bryce Harper on these lists. Obviously known names now, but Chris Bryant went to college. I mean, he was a known name, but he took that course, you know. And then the next year with guys like Francisco Lindor that at the time were, 5'8" and 140 pounds and make the list, and the shadow of a type of Lindor has grown so much, especially now that he's in that new market. So those are the guys that were put on there, these early lists, and we've just seen the accuracy continue with these. Now these underclass lists littered with the Elijah Greens, the Andrew Jones, the Cole Youngs, the Jackson Holidays, all guys that right now it just looks like we're going to be talking about them when they get to the pro level, and you'll get to see in a broadcast booth, hopefully at an MLB stadium coming soon.
All right, we move to the next number 4, risers at the high school age group.
I've been on the road quite a bit, so I've seen some of these guys, but a lot of these names are from our other scouts that just do a fabulous job getting information. The risers, some of these aren't guys that are not known. The first guy I'm going to talk about is Andrew Painter. Obviously, he's our number 1 rated arm in the class. However, he struggled his first outing. whether it was jitters, whether it was a good approach by a very, very good and ranked Spruce Creek team. However it was not an Andy Painter type outing. Has gone on from there though and just shown mid to upper 90s fastball velocity with at least control of the pitch to both sides of the plate. And that command you can see coming one day, especially when he learns to use all 4 quadrants. The slider has really made a tick up at times from what we've seen it in the past. And he's a potential 4-pitch guy because the changeup is also coming on. So he's kind of righted that ship. Not that he's necessarily a riser, but it's always good to see the struggle of some of those top guys, whether it's one outing or not, and then just coming back and doing what they've always done. And that's a credit to Andy Painter. Thatcher Hurd is another guy who's finding ways to get in front of scouts because he is a California kid. They're starting up over on the West Coast now, but the data that he's putting up with the projection, with the athleticism, the spin rates on both the fastball and the breaking ball, and he can pitch. I mean, he's a former catcher. He's athletic. He keeps it compact. This could be one of those real risers, as Brian Sikowski has gotten the feeling that this might be a Cole Winn type situation where throughout the spring he just keeps ringing that bell. So he's definitely a guy that is being talked about in all the circles. Rock Reggio is another name. He's kind of a famous name from all of his days younger with USA and going through perfect game events, but he's really showing a consistent approach at the plate. He's got defensive versatility on the infield and has played a lot in the outfield, even though he's young, and I get it, he's in high school, but this guy has played a lot of baseball, and the versatility and the consistency that he's shown early on has been pretty impressive from a scouting standpoint.
All right, number 5, college risers, the last one on your list.
There's so many because we didn't get to see so many of these kids play last year, obviously with the pandemic, and then with summer baseball being canceled, especially in some of the bigger leagues. We didn't know what to expect. You're kind of guessing on what they did as a freshman and how you thought they were going to develop, especially with coming from programs that have a reputation of developing toolsy players that got to college. But I'm going to touch on just a few. The Vandy duo has to be mentioned again, just because I think right now, from an industry standpoint, you could argue that they're winning games at Vandy and competing for the first and second overall picks. So until, as Vinny Servino said, until they stop doing what they've been doing, we can't stop talking about them. So it's just a fascinating race, especially for two kids that seem to enjoy rooting for each other and then competing against each other. And I don't know, I mean, you've got that, the Cole Bauer back at UCLA. It's the same type feeling of guys that you're like, wow, we're going to see these guys in a bunch of all-star games and postseason play in the near future. Gunnar Hoagland is another one. He was a first-day pick out of high school, chose to go to Ole Miss, and he's really come into his own, and he is the pitcher that everybody expected at this point. Just dominant as far as arguably the best command in college baseball, and the development of the off-speed, the swing and miss, going deep into games, everything that you wanted to see over a 3-year period is showing up every week in Mississippi this year. So he's been fantastic and actually a delight to watch, kind of that throwback pitcher, an artist that also has high-level stuff.
Thank you, Jered. Insightful stuff. Now everyone knows what the 5 subjects are, and you peeled them back very nicely. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Always enjoy it.
Great stuff, Jered Goodwin. Now you have a better feel for the world of amateur baseball. And before we say goodbye, let's take a look ahead at some key upcoming moments that you will see for Perfect Game. Those Sunshine Showcases need to be mentioned because there's a couple there. Visit perfectgame.org. You will see them all around the country. That's a chance to find your way to the national showcase. Find a Sunshine Showcase that's regional. That gets you if you show out there. It happens year in and year out. Find a Sunshine near you. And the pre-draft showcase is mentioned because there's a fun history there. And if you are a 21 and you feel like, heck, you want to go for it at the class of 22. But if you're 21, look, Jackie Bradley in 08 threw 101 at a pre-draft showcase. Brian McCann was at the 02 pre-draft, then was Atlanta's second-round pick right after that. Carl Crawford was at the 99 pre-draft. Yeah, we've been doing it for a long time. Was Tampa Bay's third-round pick, the academic showcase. Hey, good for you, by the way. That means you're taking care of your business in the classroom. Take part in that one. Angels starting pitcher Alex Cobb several years back was part of the academic showcase. I want to thank all of our guests, John Savage for his insights, Carson Bowen showing us how he does what he does. And remember, find out, get those videos in, how I do what I do, and of course, the wisdom of Jered Goodwin. My name is Daron Sutton. This is the only show devoted to amateur baseball. Thanks for hanging out with us. This is Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings.